Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett. Oh no, I think I'm about to have another episode. Greetings, Earthlings. Hello, it's Charlie Jewett, not an alien, though I know that incredible imitation probably tricked you and you thought an alien had taken over the show. Maybe not, but it's still me, no matter what you believe, doing episode 144. Hey, let's talk about the 5 types of advisors and what to look out for. Now, over the years, I've created some interesting acronyms: merit planning, mortgage plan, estate plan, retirement plan, insurance plan, and tax plan. The 5 lives of retirement, which is not really a acronym, but, you know, who knows if you're going to have a long life, short life, rough life, sick life, and into the next life. Not sure if you know, but each one of those actually has an acronym that goes with it, because I'm such a nerd, to try to fix it. So if you're going to have a long life, you have to get a GRIP, a guaranteed retirement income plan. If you're going to have a short life, you have to get a CLUE, covering living expenses upon expiration. And get a GRIP, get a CLUE, get a job, get a room, get a life. Those are all acronyms for the way to solve the 5 lives of retirement problem. Nerd alert! Greetings, nerdlings. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just like these kind of things. And then I came up with the in-case income increase. And I was sitting here the other day. I've had a little bit of writer's block. What? Boo, don't tell anybody. Why not? I'm honest. Tell everybody everything. There were some times in the last couple of weeks where I'm like, I don't know which episodes to put out. I'm going through Tony Robbins' book, which is 1,127 pages in a PDF, and trying to do a series on the 7 steps of to financial freedom from Tony Robbins. But it's such a huge book. It's actually, to be very candid, it's kind of actually hard to find what step number 1 and step number 2 are, because there's 9 myths in between 2 of them, which is multiple chapters and things like that. And I always interrupt my series with whatever's on my mind anyway. But I thought, you know, it's been a while since I created anything that I like, anything exciting to me that's pithy like that, or that has an acronym to it, or that it's, you know, some sort of way that make things easier to remember. And so I just put my mind to it and said, what can I talk about? What can I do that would make things, you know, another version of that could be something that's easy to remember, that's just another thing that rolls off the tip of my tongue or becomes some helpful language for you guys. And what came into my mind was the different types of advisors, the different places that you could go for your investment advice. You may go to a banker, you may go to a stockbroker, you may go to what's called a captive, either insurance agent or a captive money manager or mutual fund salesman. You might go to an independent agent that may or may not be doing what's best for you, or you may go to someone who's absolutely doing what's best every single time. And I thought, what can I call those? I know what I'll call them. I'll call them the teller, the trickster, the team player, the time saver, and the total package. Booyah! I love stuff like this. So if you're sick of it from me, I'm so sorry, but we got 5 T's again, baby. The teller, the trickster, the team player, the time saver, and the total package. I don't know which one you're with. People come to us from all over the country, emailing in, calling into the 800 number, and some of them are with bankers, some of them are with brokers, some of them are with the real, you know, big name, big brand companies, some of them are with competitors, other independent financial advisors, and we handle it all exactly the same way. Let's just see what you're doing, see if it's what's best, and see if there's anything better, because it's not about the advisor, it's not about me, it's not about my team. It's not about the person you're with or how much you like them, or, you know, going to each other's parties and sending letters and birthday cards and all that. That's all a gimmick. That's all just, I mean, let me rephrase that. There's nothing wrong with that. I plan to send birthday cards and presents and treat our clients very well, but behind the scenes, we're doing what's best. What I've come out against in the industry is people that use all of that to manipulate you, or to kind of distract you from the fact that behind the scenes they're not doing what's best, and I want what's best for you. So let's go through these 5 and just talk about kind of what their focus is and what mistake they're making. I'm going to throw a penalty flag on each one of them. I don't have a whistle right now. I can't even do that. But that referee's whistle that they might blow on a football game. Let's go through these. Teller, trickster, team player, time saver, and the total package. What's the teller? This one's pretty easy because most of us go to the bank, although today we have all kinds of mobile banking where you can take pictures of your checks and, you know, drive up to ATMs, and you could be a complete and total introvert in your underwear and not ever have to see a human being again and somehow manage your money. Why would you want to? I don't know. I have the ability to take pictures of my checks and do it mobily, and sometimes I still drive to the bank and hand them a check, and maybe I just want a little human interaction. For God's sakes, I sit here with my microphone all the time alone crying. Just no. All right, I'm not going there. We need people. Sometimes you want to see some people, right? But We could do it all mobile, but we still have banks. Not only do we have banks, we have big banks. Not only do we have big banks, we have big banks that are trying to figure out how do we keep the people in here. So one of the biggest ones is saying that now they have not just banking, but some sort of cafe. I don't even understand it. I got to go into one of those banks. I mean, a lot of banks I go into have coffee. Isn't that cafe? I guess in Mexico. But I don't know what these banking cafes have. If there's live music, comfy chairs, if it's a Starbucks inside of a bank, I'm going to have to check one of these out. But the teller, the bank teller. I mean, one of the people I work with, Andy Guzzi, you guys have heard some episodes with him in the trenches with Andy Guzzi, and I go to Chicago 6 to 8 times a year, and we do seminars together. Andy Guzzi started in the banking environment and left because he realized it wasn't what was best for the consumer, and he didn't have the freedom to do really what the consumer needed. So the banker, or the teller, the same thing, what's their message? They're going to say, we can do that for you. We also have that. We can keep it all in-house right here. You don't need to go anywhere else. Let me just take you over to door number 3. Da, 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 da. So you move from the teller over to some other office or some other door where a, quote, licensed professional takes over and says, we will do this for you also. Well, the penalty flag I'm going to throw is for manipulating. Why do I say manipulating? I say manipulating because the teller has this giant building around them, this giant brand, this name that's all over town on multiple buildings and possibly advertised on television, and they utilize that brand to steer you or to kind of, they borrow the trust you have in the fact that they're housing your money and seeing you on a daily basis, and they borrow that relationship to then bring you over to their financial planning department. And I will change what I'm about to say when there's new data, but to date, in 14 years, I've never seen, not even one single time, I've never ever seen the advice given from a bank's money manager or a bank's financial planning department be anywhere close to covering the 5 lives of retirement or anywhere close to being what's best for the consumer. They tend to add a product they want to sell, like mutual funds. And they have somebody who's licensed to put you into mutual funds and to gamble for a fee. So the penalty flag is for manipulating. That's the teller. The trickster. What's the trickster? I don't see too many of these anymore. If you saw movies like, Boiling Point, I think there's another movie, or you saw that movie about the Wolf on Wall Street, you kind of get a little bit of a glimpse into the world of the stockbroker, or the person that used to sell stocks. As a matter of fact, I saw somebody speak one time, I can't remember his name, but the movie called The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith was on this guy, where he started, I believe, homeless and poor, and then worked his way up through a company selling stocks, and then opened up his own brokerage firm. And I can't say whether he went on to do good or bad things. I just remember the guy's finger was curved. As he spoke, he held up his finger, and it was curved. And he said, that's because I never put the phone down, and all we had was rotary dial. And all the dialing that I did bent the bones in his finger. I'm like, that's crazy. Pursuit of Happiness, incredible movie. Absolutely love it. If you want to see a little picture into the world of stockbrokers from kind of a positive take, Boiler Room's kind of a negative take. But a stockbroker, what's the message of the stockbroker is, here's a hot one for you. Hot one, come get you a hot one, right? They're trying to stock pick. They're trying to pick a stock that's about to take off. It's gambling at its best, but not in a casino, right? And that may be fine. Matter of fact, if you've chosen an amount of your money that you're okay playing with, look the same way. If you go to Las Vegas, you show up with a certain amount of money. I'm going to go with $500 and gamble, and if I lose it, I lose it, and then I'm going to stop. Don't go to the ATM once you lose the 500 and get another 500. Don't do that. Same thing. If you already know it's risky and it's gambling and it's fun for you and you have the money to lose, I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm more focusing on my specialty, which is retirement planning, money that you need to provide an income to get you to and through retirement, not money that's not needed in your life, so it's extra, and it doesn't matter if you spend it on Starbucks or gambling or jet skis. It's just extra. But the stockbrokers' message is, hey, here's a hot one, or you should buy this, you should buy that, this is about to explode, here's a tip no one else knows, get it on the ground floor. The penalty flag that I'm going to throw for this one is exaggerating. Now, why do I say that? Because they're exaggerating oftentimes whether or not it's a good time to get in or out. They're exaggerating how much can be earned. They're exaggerating oftentimes how many of their clients actually make money or don't make money, or whether this whole system even works. So the penalty flag for that one is exaggerating. So we had the teller. Their message was, don't go anywhere else. Keep everything in-house. Sit in our cafe while we stick you into mutual funds, and I think that's manipulation. Stockbroker messages, hey, here's a hot one, or hey, buy this right now. Penalty flag is exaggerating, because that very rarely works out. It is difficult to time the stock market, especially using a broker. Now, what's the third type? The team player. We had the teller, the trickster, and the team player. What's the team player? You have heard me talk about this a lot. I have an entire episode called A Day in the Life of Edward Morgan Lynch. The majority of financial advisors, I just listened to another podcast today, and one of the people used to work for one of these big companies where they were captive. The majority of financial advisors and insurance agents are captive. And if you just think of the word, it reminds you of pirates and chains and being put in a jail. And basically, they are. They are chained to only making decisions that are good for the company, not for you. They're in the jail of only being able to offer the products their boss, their principal, the guy called him today, everything he sold, he had to run past the principal. And yes, technically, he was allowed to sell something besides what they wanted to push, but in reality, he wasn't, because he had to get it through the principal, and they would ask him to switch over to what they wanted to sell, the stuff they were pushing that month. Working with an advisor who has to jam you into only what his boss or company wants them to sell you is certainly not going to get the best results that we're looking for in this game of gambling, if you do choose to use the market, or product selection and guarantees, the things they have that aren't the stock market. So if they do have any annuities or life insurance, they're very, very limited. And again, I'll change my message when the data changes. But I've literally, in 14 years, thousands and thousands of financial plans, never seen a single person come from a captive agent who had what was best for them. We could easily beat it in 2 to 5 minutes, just saying, well, forget what that company offers. Let's look at what every company offers, and just acting like a normal independent broker would, or an independent advisor, and saying what else is out there. Lowering the fees, increasing the returns, reducing the risk can be done in our sleep if you're with a captive agent. I'm not a fan of these companies. I'm not. As a matter of fact, I'd like to get big enough to buy all of them and repent to all of you guys on their behalf and fix your financial plans from the inside and say, hey, we're the new owners. We do things a little bit differently. So-and-so's, they're retired now. I'm not a fan of these companies, but they've got trillions and trillions of dollars because they use trust to earn it. So captive agents where the business card has a huge brand name insurance company or a huge brand name mutual fund sales organization company on it, that's what I'm talking about with the team player. What's their message? Their message is, we can beat the market. Or, even though they don't say this out loud, we're worth our fees. You shouldn't go around us and just buy the index, even though Warren Buffett says you should, even though David Swenson says you should, even though everybody Tony Robbins interviewed in his book are like the top 50 wealth creators, even though all of them basically have the consensus that money managers don't beat the market and you'd be better off buying an index fund. These guys say, we can beat the market and we're worth the fees. So the penalty flag for these guys is for lying. Telling you they can beat the market, using average rate of return to show that how much returns they have, using mutual funds, which probably should not be used if you have more than $20,000 to $50,000. Inside those mutual funds, there's also lying going on in the way they report returns, time-weighted versus money-weighted, and then also there's fees that are hidden that the SEC doesn't require they tell you about. So the penalty flag for the team player, the captive insurance agent, or the captive broker, money manager, is lying. So we had the teller, the trickster, the team player, and next fourth is the time saver. That's a weird name, but I needed a T, gosh darn it. The time saver. What's the time saver? The time saver is almost what you need. This is an independent person, okay? They don't work at a bank. They're not a stockbroker. They're truly independent. When you look at their business card, It is the name of their company on it, not the name of some big sales organization that you see advertised on the Super Bowl. It's the name of their company, Johnson Wealth Management, right? Smith Retirement Solutions. It's going to have someone's name on it. They're going to be independent. Now, they might be singularly licensed, or they might be dually licensed or multiple licenses. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Maybe they only have a Series 65. Like, all they do is manage money. They're a registered investment advisor, and they don't do any life insurance or annuities. Maybe they only do life insurance or annuities. They don't have a securities license. They don't have the Series 65 or anything else like that. And so all they do is annuities and life insurance. Either one of those with a singular license could do a good job for the right client who actually wants what they offer. The problem is when they only have one of those licenses, though they're independent, they're not duly licensed, they can't offer what everybody needs. They certainly can't take care of everybody. And in my opinion, if they don't have the insurance license, they can take care of almost no one except for the ultra wealthy who literally don't care about rate of return or what's going on. They just want excitement, and all the money in their life is just play money. But basically, if you don't have a life insurance license and you're in this independent advisor world, you can't take care of any normal retiree who is in a planning family that needs the income. Needs the assets they've generated to create an income stream for the rest of their life. And what's the message that these guys have? Now, I'm talking about independent advisors that aren't doing what's best for people. That's the time saver. Why am I saying the time saver? Because they're lazy. They're lazy. They don't want to do this the hard way. They want to make it easy, which usually means they're gathering assets under management. So what I'm coming after and exposing in this particular piece, this fourth T, the time saver, is that I travel all over this country and go to all kinds of conferences. Sometimes at the conference they know who I am. Sometimes they don't, because my face isn't out there, just my voice, right? So I get to sit stealth and listen. What do advisors talk about behind closed doors? What do independent advisors, because these conferences aren't full of captive agents. They're full of independent financial advisors. What do independent advisors talk about in the workshops, like from the stage? What do they teach each other about? What do they talk about at lunch and dinner and after dinner and at the bar and all that? What do they talk about? Honestly, it's assets under management. How much money have you gathered that you're making 1% on? I don't like that. I don't think it should be that way. I'm giving you an accurate feedback from my 14 years of hanging around with advisors. I have a problem with that because the message that's being sent to you is service is what matters. Forget rate of return. I might not beat the market. I might be over. I might be under. But what really matters is that service, that you're taking good care of. We have a beautiful office. We contact you a lot. We send you lots of presents, and we throw parties for your friends. Well, in the world of growing money, in any industry, service matters, right? So if I went to a restaurant and they had great food, but it took 9.5 hours to get your meal and there was no waiter or waitress, I don't think I'd go back there. I wouldn't like that, right? So any industry, service matters. But in an industry where underperforming the market by 1 or 2% costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions, or the difference between running out of money before you die and not, I'm not sure that the difference in service they're offering between just buying an index fund makes any sense at all, especially with all of the research showing. I don't know if you guys know, I have another podcast called the 5 Lives of Retirement podcast, and I just did an episode over there where I was talking about Tony Robbins' research on money managers and not beating the market and mutual funds underperforming the market. And basically, there's no evidence that you should use a money manager versus buying an index fund. Basically zero. Nothing points to it, yet most of the people that show me their portfolios are paying for somebody. That's marketing, guys. The reason that it's popular to have someone managing your money is because they've become good at marketing, not because any evidence points to the fact that that's a wise decision or that you're going to win. Warren Buffett, all of the people in Tony Robbins' book basically say your chances of beating an index fund by hiring somebody are virtually zero based on the evidence. So, but they come along and say, well, service is what matters. Well, how much is that service really costing you? We'd want to quantify that. So for the independent advisors, particularly the ones who are managing money and trying to gather assets under management so they can make money while they play golf and not have to work, those guys, the penalty flag for those guys is for hiding. hiding stuff from you. Not having an insurance license, therefore not showing you any of that stuff. Or maybe having an insurance license, but not showing you annuities and life insurance because they want the AUM, they want the assets under management, where every time they gain a new client, their income for life goes up because they get paid 1% on that giant conglomerate number of all the assets they're managing in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. By the way, you have become the annuity for them if you take all the risk and pay that fee. So if you say, yeah, put me in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds where I don't even know what I'm going to make, but you're making 1% a year, even if you're playing golf. All that's happened is you and all those other families have signed up to be the annuity instead of to buy the annuity. When you buy an annuity, your assets go to an insurance company and you get guaranteed income for life even if you run out of money. When you put your money in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, you become the annuity. Like the insurance company, you take all the risk, and the advisor gets paid guaranteed income for life as long as you're with them, even if they don't work. So the penalty flag for these guys is hiding, because they're hiding annuities and life insurance, which have both outperformed the stock market over the last 18 years when you look at the best products. So what's the fifth one? We've gone through 4 of these T's. I like the 5 T's. Teller, trickster, team player, time saver. What's left? The total package, baby. What are you looking for? The total package. What you need to find, what you'll be happy if you can find, what would provide the best retirement plan for you is a fully licensed, at least 2 licenses, Series 65 and life insurance, so they can offer everything you might need in the financial services world, a fully licensed, independent, so nobody's telling them what to do, advisor with, caveat, with access to all the products in the market, including the proprietary products. And those aren't that easy to find. Trust me, as an advisor, it's hard to find the proprietary products. Then you have to have a certain amount of production or they won't let you with them. When I first discovered them, I didn't have enough production. I had to get my production up. Then I was able to offer the proprietary products. So thank God today we have all of them. Fully licensed, independent, with all the products. The message from this type of a firm is whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever's best for you, we don't care what it pays us, or we don't care how we get paid. Why is that the message? Because these are people of integrity, where they're in the business for you and for their passion about retirees and retirement, not their passion for creating monthly income that comes in like clockwork so they can play golf even if they don't work. They're 2 totally different mindsets. One of them says, how quickly can I get where I don't have to go to work and I get paid no matter what? The other one says, what do American retirees need? And no matter what it costs us, how do we get them what they need and fulfill this mission? Whatever you want, whatever you need is the message, and there are no penalty flags, but rather kudos. I think I had 6 insurance agents or financial advisors reach out just in the last month, and I'm congratulating people for what they're doing out there in these different cities, and some of them we're bringing on and training them and making them a part of the team, because it'll take an army to replace the big giant brokerage firms that have $1 trillion under management and are herding people through 12,000 offices. That's not a small accomplishment we're trying to do on your behalf. A lot of you who already work with us, we've protected you. You're good. But how many more people out there in the baby boomer world, or in the 30s and 40s and 50-year-olds that used to be saving under the old model, thinking more risk equals more reward? How many people need this information? It's tons. And we need an army. And so we're building and we're growing and trying to help as many people as we possibly can. So a fully licensed independent advisor, this is the total package with all the products. They say whatever you want, whatever you need, we always do what's best no matter what the commissions or whatever the fee is. And there's no penalty flags because they get kudos from us instead of penalties. Now, if you don't already have a firm like that, you can check in with our team. That's what we do. That's what we're known for. We're a virtual financial planning firm taking care of all 50 states. Just get in touch, info@l5wealth.com, info at the letter L, the number 5, wealth.com. So you might be with a teller, a trickster, a team player, a time saver, or about to be with a firm that's the total package. Put another way, what you're looking for in the total package is one company with the 2 licenses that you need for setting up the 3 accounts to cover the 4 stages of retirement planning, so that no matter which of the 5 lives of retirement you experience, you're going to be just fine. If you don't already have one of those amazing companies, again, get in touch. info@l5wealth.com. Those of you who've listened to the podcast probably caught the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you didn't, one company, that's us, 2 licenses, life insurance license, and a Series 65 is all anybody would ever need to give any retiree what they need. 3 accounts is the in-case income increase accounts, 4 stages of retirement, contribution accumulation, distribution, finally transfer, and the 5 lives of retirement is long life, short life, rough life, sick life, and into the next life. Drop the mic, you people are the best.
Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett.
That's all, folks.